Have you ever felt like a fraud? Like you're just pretending to know what you're doing, waiting for the day when someone exposes the fact that you're wrong and you don't know what you're talking about? This video is for my fellow entrepreneur turned mom, or mom turned entrepreneur, and really anyone building or pivoting in a business where the identity shift is strong. If you're looking for a video that understands where you're at, sees your potential to be more, be bigger than you are now, and maybe impart a little inspiration to go the distance, you clicked on the right one. This may come as a shock and a little counterintuitive, but if you thought you always had to beat imposter syndrome just to make it, you don't. It's all part of the process. It's so common, it's now a buzzword, imposter syndrome. Everyone faces it, and I do mean everyone, no matter the height of their career. I definitely did and still do. The fear of being unqualified, not ready, not good enough to stand in what you believe, especially if you're a creator, an author, an artist, a blogger, a vlogger, putting bits of you and your intellectual property out into the world for everyone to see. Like when I published my first book in the mindset space. And even more so when I pivoted in my business after becoming a mom. I'd had success and notable accomplishments behind me. I was riding the wave of a booming coaching career, and then it hit again: imposter syndrome, identity crisis, debilitating fear that I didn't know what I was doing. But hadn't I already, through years of experience and practice, earned my place? Why did I feel like I didn't belong? Why did I feel like I was all of a sudden out of my element? Happens to the best of us, unfortunately. Anyone stepping into new territory. But here's the good news: we get through it. Hi, I'm Yvette the Declutterist, your less is more coach, and I'm here helping moms thrive as both present patient mother and fulfilled financially free entrepreneur. Stay with me as I share the tips and lessons I learned along the way to reclaim my success and myself, so you can too. What is imposter syndrome really? The psychological definition is a pattern of behavior where people doubt their accomplishments and have a persistent, often internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Not an actual disorder. The term was coined by clinical psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes in 1978 when they found that despite having adequate external evidence of accomplishments, people with imposter syndrome remain convinced that they don't deserve the success they have. So says Megan Dalla Camina of Psychology Today. My definition is it's you trying to be someone you're not. If you feel even a hint of imposter syndrome, it's because you're an imposter. But before you click away, hear me out. Being an imposter is a sign that you stepped into a new space and your identity hasn't fully caught up yet. That's a good thing, because in a way, we're modeling behavior we admire. Even the great Tony Robbins suggests modeling people you aspire to be like. So, where did we go wrong? To the point where modeling started to feel bad? Well, when we started to identify not as a beginner, but as an imposter. Instead of feeling the newness and embracing the experience of opportunity, we succumb to the uncertainty. It's foreign, it's exciting, it's scary. Imposter syndrome, or as I like to call it, being a beginner, is a call to honesty, to being unapologetically yourself. You don't want to mislead people, but it so happens that once you dive deep into something and start spreading what you start to realize how much you don't know. And that feeling is always there for someone continuing to climb to bigger and better, newer and different. Imposter syndrome has its origin in self doubt, which you've heard me say 1,000 times before. Doubt is the number one barrier to entry in business. We didn't come into this world doubting ourselves, though. We came here to shine. We learned to shrink. And now, every time you step into something bigger, that learned programming wants to hold you back. It's a pattern of performance anxiety. Luckily, we can break through it, starting with understanding it and how it shows up in these 4 ways: people pleasing, FOMO, comparison trap, and freshman fear. People pleasing, what you related to as a child and how you chased ideas of success in order to please those around you. You don't want to disappoint anyone. And if you feel like you aren't as ahead as you should be in life, doing everything perfectly, then you feel like you're letting them down and therefore letting yourself down. We don't want to be rejected. FOMO, fear of missing out. Naturally, you want to be in the know all the time on all the things that matter to you. But when it feels like you're missing out on something, You immediately feel inferior and irrelevant. Comparison trap. We desire to be like others who reflect our ideas of success, and we compare ourselves to them in whatever way, and we don't want to be on the losing side of life. Freshman fear. When we're new somewhere, we're at a disadvantage for what little we know and how we try to fit in. We're finding our place. And depending on how you view your ability to fit in, determines how fast you get over the culture shock. We don't want to fail in public and be humiliated. Are you noticing how these are all forms of mental clutter? But imposter syndrome doesn't just live in your head, it lives in your body too. I see it all the time in my clients and in myself: the shortened breath, the slumped shoulders, the foggy brain trying to do too much too fast. Your body's literally telling you something. It's sending signals to realign our intention with our vibration. If we push past the fatigue and we don't pause to rest, reflect, and recenter, our bodies take on the tension. We're literally shrinking ourselves. Can you puff up your chest a little bit more? Sit up tall, conscious of the power you hold? Can you take a deep breath in and a deeper breath out? And notice that mind and body connection you just created in the midst of imposter syndrome is everything. This is your spirit calling you to arms. You're meant to be doing things bigger that stretch you beyond the limits set by fear. You're meant to have a huge impact in this world. And if you're watching this, I know that in my heart to be true about you. And here's the ugly truth: you are an imposter. Scratch that. You are a beginner. You haven't been here before. This version of you, the mom, the leader, the creator, the entrepreneur, she's new. And that's not a flaw. It's a sign that you're leveling up. You're taking on a new discovery, a new drive, a new determination. Think of Moses in the Bible, being called to lead people when he didn't feel qualified. He even said, "Who am I?" But he eventually said yes. It might be lonely at the top, not because you don't belong there, but because your community hasn't formed yet. It feels foreign, it's a new altitude, and everyone who makes the climb feels like an imposter until they don't, because they stuck it out. When you embrace a beginner's mind, which is a very Zen Buddhist concept, you stop trying to be the expert and start being the explorer. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Give yourself permission to fumble, to ask questions, to learn lessons. Let the beginning be messy. And funny enough, when you do, that's when imposter syndrome starts to fade. In a video from a few years ago, YouTuber Ali Abdaal hired a writing coach to help write his book. And he was struggling with imposter syndrome. And the writing coach tells him, "You don't have to be a guru, you can be a guide." A guru comes down from the mountain and says, "Oh, I figured everything out. I've got all the answers." A guide is someone who doesn't have it all figured out, who doesn't have all the answers, and says, "Why don't we do this together? And I'll show you what I've discovered so far." And this is key. If you hear nothing else from me ever again, hear this. Be a guide, not a guru. You're just guiding people through their transformation as you're going through your own. And that's at every stage of business: starting, scaling, selling. Remember that, because that kind of clarity will carry you through. Let's backtrack a little bit to the 4 ways imposter syndrome shows up: people pleasing, FOMO, comparison trap, and freshman fear. Instead of looking at the question that typically comes up, "Who am I to do this?" as a scare tactic from your subconscious telling you that you're not good enough, look at it as an invitation to recognize that you are good enough to be doing this and to get behind your why, which is, by the way, the first question you'll answer in the Dream Business Planner. Link for that below. And maybe it helps to rephrase the question: why not me? Why am I ready for this now? How can I benefit others by sharing my experience? What if this does work? And you know me, I always like to go even deeper and ask, what parts of myself am I not fully embracing as I level up to this new chapter in my life? Is there a part of me that's not being honest? Am I running away from something while running toward this? What am I trying to prove to myself that I am in order to feel better about who I am? This introspection, this acknowledgement is necessary to get through the road ahead of haters, of critics, of all the shade that will be thrown when you get as big as you want to get talking about this topic, putting your work out into the world. It's going to happen. So get grounded in on your why. Some tips to do that: slow down. The only problem is not slowing down to reflect on where you've come from, what you've been through, and how knowledgeable you are on the journey to this place you're at now. Slow down and acknowledge how far you've come. That's the point of this life: self awareness. Breath work, movement, prayer, meditation, all will help your nervous system feel safe in your new identity. Be you. Be authentically you. Easier said than done, given the heightened sense of doubt we feel at the start of something, but it's doable. You can do it. Think of it this way: if you're stepping out into the coaching, consulting, content creator world, holding your open for business signpost high, the person a few steps behind you needs to hear from you a few steps ahead. By wallowing in imposter syndrome to the point of not doing anything, you're depriving them of a leader and yourself of a legacy. Tragic. Don't let it happen. Take time to honestly ask yourself, where am I pretending? Where am I not being fully myself? What would it look like to bring my whole self to this new chapter, imperfections and all? Affirm your truth. Affirmations help. If you breathe deeply into a thought like, I am allowed to grow and change and take up space. I am entering a new phase in my life and I'm willing to talk about it. And those who need to hear it will. I don't have to concern myself with anyone who wants to discourage me from my goals. Internalize this as a rite of passage, a step into the unknown, and let that be okay. Journal. Document your growth, celebrate the small wins, brag, vent about worries, nightmares, and hard moments. Let it all out. Form a community. Share what you're discovering about yourself with the community that's forming around your philosophies. Soon, you'll have stories to share about those you've helped. And side note, when working with others, do more listening, ask more questions, rather than impose what you believe is the lesson they need to learn. Hold space for your community to reveal how you might serve them even better than you think. Cycle out negative thoughts. Challenge negative thoughts about being judged or scrutinized and replace them with more encouraging, also possible, thoughts about yourself. I once had a mother tell me that she was afraid of being judged as a bad mom by all the other moms at her kids' school. And I asked her, couldn't they also be thinking you're a good mom? Those definitely scratch the surface, but I'll link to my blog post with more ideas on moving through imposter syndrome in the description box below. So, as we wrap this up, remember, imposter syndrome does not mean you're a fake. It means you're moving forward, onward and upward, growing, stretching into something new. Stretching beyond what you've come to know firsthand takes some adjusting. So, next time you feel like a fraud, pause, take a breath, place your hand on your heart, and say, oh, I must be climbing. Don't hide you in all this. None of this, life and business, requires you to be perfect in any way. It's about honoring where you are right now, where you've been, and feeling the discomfort for what it has to tell you. Adjust and align accordingly. If you've dealt with imposter syndrome, share your story in the comments below. You're not alone. You, me, and everyone watching are in this together. And of course, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe on this video. And check the links in the description box. If you want deeper support, I've got resources in there for you. All really good stories start with a great beginning. Until the next one.